Welcome back to Let's Help You Grow Now, because I'm here to help you grow now. I'm going to do reaction to Russ, how he built an indie empower. Y'all can see the rest. Let's get into it, man. I know there's going to be a bunch of nuggets that Russ is dropping because he's one of the most successful independent artists out there. I mean, you got to be real about it. You know what I'm saying? Numbers don't lie. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So let's go ahead and get into it.
I think I've gotten really far off of just delusion.
Bro, that right there, just off that right there, that's a fact. Just off delusion. Like, I know somebody said that I was delusional. I was like, you right. I am. Because to be really, you know, trying to put yourself in a position, really working to get to the highest of the highest, the most successful in life. It's crazy. It really is crazy because most people will just take the easy route if that's what they actually want. You feel me? I'm not talking about the people who actually want the easy life and is cool with it. No, I'm talking about the people who actually want to be in my position, but bro, you're too lazy. Like, you're not going to be able to do it, bro. You're not going to be able to have your own independent label. You're not going to be able to manage yourself, get over 1 million streams like myself. Now you can do it with someone like Russ and myself help. You know what I'm saying? That's the better route for you. I wouldn't take the front route. No Diddy, as in being the one that calling a shot. No, don't do that. Don't set yourself up for failure.
What's a song that just came off the cuff?
All of the big ones, all of them. 315 was an hour. What They Want was 45 minutes. I did a song a week for 96 weeks, something like that. It blew up.
Yeah, I heard about that. I remember when he was saying that he dropped the songs a week on SoundCloud and just kept going. Back to SoundCloud era days.
But this is kind of why I did my approach of a song a week. The people pick the hits. Like, you could think it's this one. Just put the music out and the people will tell you it's this one. Put your out.
Are you ever afraid that you'll run out of creativity?
Every day. That comes with being an artist, you know? I take care of my whole family.
Like, I ain't gonna lie to you guys, like, losing creativity, it's not the point of I would be afraid of losing creativity. It's just the point of, do I still got it? Because I ain't gonna lie to you guys. After every project, like, I just dropped a new project called Dario the Scorpio King. Y'all can definitely check that out for sure. But it's a really great project, by the way. One of my favorites, but that I made so far. But every time I drop a project, like, a project is a body of work. It's the best of the best songs, you know what I'm saying, that I have. And it's like, well, at least in my opinion, but it's like, next one, I'm already thinking about the next one. Like, dang, am I gonna be able to top this, bro? Like, am I gonna be able to, you feel me? You know, just random thoughts.
Off of music. So it has to keep working.
I mean, if you were to start from zero with everything you know now, how would you do it? And the writer is, I am your host, Ross Golan. Today's indie superhero is a musical force whose career defies the traditional rules of the industry. With his pen, production, and passion, he's crafted his own lane in a space where independence and artistry often clash. Known for his unapologetic approach to creative control, he's built a legacy as an all-in rapper, producer, and songwriter. From the early days of releasing free music on SoundCloud to dropping platinum albums, he's championing for artist rights everywhere. And the writer is Russ.
Wow. What an intro. Thank you.
I would say that if my name is mistaken for any other, it's Russ.
Yeah, I get Ross as well. Yeah.
It's a weird thing because like, it's hard to explain to people because Russ and Ross probably are about, I don't know, you probably met as many Rosses as Rosses in your life.
I've
right?
never met another Ross now that I think about it.
Oh, that's cool. So but you probably haven't met that many Russes either, right?
No.
It's not like a super common name.
I feel like maybe there was one kid I went to high school with.
Yeah.
I think he had red hair. You're supposed to have red hair if your name is Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those things where it's a loud place and it's like, what's your name? It's Russ.
Ross?
Ross? Yeah.
I always get Ross.
Yeah.
Ross?
Yeah.
No, Russ with the U.
Yeah.
Ross?
Yeah.
I forget it.
Well, my in-laws call me Rusty because they thought that my name was Russ for a minute before they met me.
Yeah. Just walk around with a name tag.
Yeah. So, like literally my brother-in-law calls me Rusty still. And I've been married for like over 10 years.
Yeah. That's good. That it's just going to stick at this point.
So you were born.
I was born.
Yeah. Okay. And so you're a Jersey kid.
We moved when I was a baby.
Yeah. You lived in it everywhere.
It's so funny.
Why did you move everywhere?
So my dad's job, he was just chasing jobs. But I was born in New Jersey. My dad's from New Jersey. My mom's from New York, but we moved when I was a baby. And what's so funny is like to this day, even yesterday, like I tweeted like the Pacers are going to beat the Thunder in the finals, which means that they would beat the Knicks. And somebody's like, you're from Jersey. How could you? I'm like, y'all just are not going to let this one go.
Yeah.
Like you're just going to claim me as being from New Jersey. It doesn't matter if we moved like when I was 2 months old.
But do you think that like, does North Carolina, does Kentucky, like who has the right?
I think Atlanta gets it just because I've lived there for 20 years.
Oh yeah.
And I did like, we moved there when I was 12, which I think is like really important years, 12 and beyond going into high school, So
what jobs, when you say your dad chased jobs, what did he do?
So he was working at a bank, then he was working at advertising company, then he tried to start his own thing, but he didn't go to college. So leaving New Jersey, just chasing work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kentucky
was a random one. I don't know why we were there. We were there for a year.
Do you remember any of it?
Yeah. I impaled myself with a sparkler, like July 4th sparkler when I was like 8 or 7, running down the like hill that we lived on. And I remember just tripping and falling and
That seems very painful.
Yeah. But that was a wild, strange time.
Why?
It was like a new development. So there was like a bunch of unbuilt houses, where it's just like the construction of it happening. And I'm like 6 years old and there's older kids in the neighborhood and there's not shit to do. So I was like tagging along, like breaking into those houses. And I don't know what they were doing. I was 6 years old, 7 years old. And I remember just like riding in the back of a cop car back then and them dropping me off at my parents' house. I think it was like some scare tactic. I don't know. I got to ask like my parents if they were in on that.
Were you a bad kid?
Nah, I wasn't a bad kid. No, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah. So you guys moved to Atlanta when you're 12.
Yeah.
The culture in Atlanta when you were 12 is like prime for music. That's like a hotspot at the time, right?
Yeah, I mean, we lived like north of the city, like 20 minutes. So, but I was there when all the like snap music took off. So like there was a new crazy dance that everyone was doing at the pep rallies. Like I remember being in high school and Soulja Boy coming and performing at the pep rally when he had Crank That, and like everyone like fled the bleachers and the teachers are on the basketball court doing the Crank That. It was like crazy. He was like 16 telling everyone fuck school, like in high school at the pep rally.
We were driving up. I have a 3.5-year-old and a almost 1.5-year-old. We're driving up to somewhere this weekend and we're listening to 2000s hits and 2010s. So we kind of go through like all those different decade things. And I'm in the car and my kid's in the back and I'm going like, Superman that hoe. And just like, this feels like really wrong. We're doing that, like, but I don't know. It kind of sounds like a superhero. Like, I don't know. I don't have to explain it yet.
Yeah.
Or ever, I hope.
Yeah. Let them discover it.
What kind of music did you listen to in the house?
So in the house, my parents would play like shit from the 70s, like Kansas.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Like,
that's not what I thought you were going to say.
What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, your stuff has a lot of soulful aspects to it. So like, I guess my assumption was not, Kansas is the least, I shouldn't say soulful because it's soulful in its own way, but it's
but I grew up on those like 70s rock ballads, like Journey, Kansas. But my dad was also playing like Mamas and Papas, like all the leaves around.
You want to know something crazy?
Huh.
That the house that they lived in is like a mile from here.
No shit.
Like this whole area is filled with that. Yeah, that's an aside. Anyway, so you go and
but they would do these like dance party nights where they would just play music and my mom and dad would dance around, and it was Bee Gees, it was Earth, Wind and Fire, it was Mamas and Papas, it was my dad was playing Bruce Springsteen, and I don't know, it was just everything.
Is anyone playing music?
No, my dad was like really musically inclined though.
How do you know that?
His rhythm in his ear was like he could sing. And he would harmonize when like he was that dad where like the song's playing and he's doing perfect harmonies. Like what? Yeah. And like the steering wheel is the craziest drum kit ever. And he's nailing the solos like on Hotel California.
He's still doing it, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. But he was just really musically inclined. His dad played guitar, banjo, mandolin. So it just like skipped him and went to me.
When did it start for you?
13. Yeah.
With what?
So, man, I'm trying to think of the year. 13, it was like 2005, something like that. 04. And just kind of when like, I don't know, Ultimate Guitar Tabs was like huge. And I just wanted to play guitar. And so my grandfather bought me a guitar. He taught me like the first couple chords, D major and A and G and whatever. And that was my like introduction to music, was playing the guitar and learning how to play, you know, Good Riddance by Green Day and fucking Smoke on the Water. You know.
Did you try writing songs on a guitar first?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like melodramatic campfire songs.
Like what? What was the first song?
God, I wish. Like, see, this is the thing. Like technology back then, there was no like recording.
Yeah, but if you're the guy who can go on radio stations and freestyle, you're probably the guy who can recall a song that they wrote.
No, you know what? I've never thought about this till now. I think it was like me and my best friend at the time who played guitar as well and like keyboard and drums. And I think we would just hang out and try to write bullshit. But it wasn't like let's sit and write a song. We were like 14, just like bullshitting. There was no structure. There was no anything.
When did you write something where it started to sound like a song that you'd recognize?
I'm gonna learn how.
19.
Oh, so you had years there.
Oh yeah. So like I started to play the guitar, then that led to me fucking around with like keys. Then I got an electric drum set and was doing that.
You would just do covers or just learn other people's music?
Learn other people's music. Yeah, like my brother would play like the guitar for Kashmir by Led Zeppelin and I would do the drums because they're so easy. And it was just, that's what we would do. And then it led to me making beats. So then I was making beats and there was rappers at school that would come over and record. And I was just a kid making beats on GarageBand.
What rappers did you like most from your high school?
Ooh, when I was in high school, damn, these are such good, because I've never had these questions. It's awesome. Let me think. Back then, 05, 06 to 2010, it was Wayne. Wayne was fucking, he was the man. Like 06, 07 is when he dropped like 70 songs like in a year and was just jumping on everyone's shit.
Yeah.
Crazy. Wiz Khalifa blew up right around that time. Kanye, Drake, like towards the end of high school, like 09. J. Cole, Kendrick, same. It was all like the end of high school. But early on in high school, I was really listening to like singer-songwriter stuff, like a Fine Frenzy and Brett Dennen and fucking.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like,
Brett's a super nice guy.
Oh yeah? I've only ever heard Ain't No Reason, but it's one of my favorite songs ever.
He's also a redhead. Just going back. That's called a callback.
Yeah.
We'll get into more.
But I was just obsessed. I was always obsessed with like acoustic stuff.
Did you? I mean, it's so interesting to be like, this is one of the things that your skill set as a creator and what you're digesting as a listener aren't always the same thing.
No.
And I think the assumption is that you listen to all the music that clearly inspires this. And it's like, no. You listen to all of it. You just, when you sit down, that's who you are.
Yeah.
You know?
I think some of those like pop punk, soft rock melodies come out in the music though sometimes.
Yeah.
I think like some of the melodies I do like don't like, they don't come from a R&B background. So I think sometimes with my music, like this is me speculating, but I feel like it's hard to place it for like rap editors at DSPs and shit because the melodies are like from 2006 soft rock, pop punk, Thriving Ivory, A Day to Remember, like emo melodies. You know what I mean? To a certain degree.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually one of the questions that I was going to ask later when we get into it, because there's the choices of samples of melodies that you're doing. Like, it's clearly not, it's not the same as everyone else in any specific genre. Like, it feels like it's like from different places.
They need to make another genre, like, bro.
When you're making beats, starting with that, I
feel like they need to make another genre because it's like, I go through the same stuff. Like my music be like all over the place, but it makes sense though. And it just be a mixture of stuff. And I'm a hard melody rapper. You know what I'm saying? Artist. So it's like, they need to make another genre, bro. Like within hip hop, they need to make another genre.
Making beats that sound anything like the Russ we know? Or back then it was trying to make like, what did your beat sound like when you started?
Oh man, it was all synth heavy because you got to remember, right? Like 06, 07 was like when synths were running shit.
Yeah.
Like all the Jim Johnson production, Love in This Club by Usher, like all that kind of just really just like synth leads were cool. You know, so all my shit back then was like really heavily just bad stock sounds of synths.
Yeah. Until you realize, you know, I posted a thing about drum programmers, which we can get into.
I saw that. How's that going? How's the blowback on that going?
Yeah. We'll get into that. And oh man. No, it's I don't even remember where I was going once you said the blowback thing. That really took me to a place I was at my head all weekend.
Yeah.
And we could just jump to that for a second. Like I basically posted that drum programmers, it was a clip from John Bellion's interview where I said, you know, if drum programmers want to come for my publishing, I'm going to come for your production is the gist of it, you know? I think the idea is that I'm referring primarily to people who add drums after the song is written and not the people who are in the room creating the beat.
Yeah. What do you feel they should get like a work for hire fee?
I just think that production is production and songwriting is songwriting. Yeah. And if, you know, in a technical sense, songwriting is lyric and melody. That's the legal ruling. You can have lots of different chords underneath. You have lots of different drum beats. You may have one that's really good that makes it a hit.
Yeah.
But that's not songwriting. That is by definition production.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who produce on songs after the song is written then come and say, well, this is essential to the songwriting. And a songwriter's like, nope, that's essential to the production. If you want our songwriting, then we want your production.
Ooh.
Or don't come for our shit. We're not going to come for yours.
Yeah.
And so there's this, like, when I posted that, I thought it was going to be, you know, the Nashville people are like, amen,
of course,
louder. And the, you know, the Atlanta people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? and like when you, this is my thought process with it was when you have somebody talking about stock synths, or somebody wrote as a comment, I don't always read comments, but this thread I read comments. But somebody posted, well, what would Umbrella be without the drum beat? Well, that drum beat is a stock sample, a stock loop in Logic. So what it would be is a song without a stock loop from Logic. Like, you know, using that in the creation of the beat, if the beat's created first, which it was with that song in particular, you know, those producers are songwriters because they're part of the process of the creation of the song. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. And there's definitely validity to that. But then you know what I'm of the mind of is the song is the lyrics and the music. Simple, right? Who wrote the lyrics? Who wrote the music? And I think the drums are part of the music. So for me, like when I'm doing publishing splits, it's like who wrote the lyrics and the melody? A lot of flies. Did I showered? Yeah, I showered. Just kidding. It's just a day.
Who wrote the lyrics? Who wrote the melody? Who did the music? Who did the drums? So lyrics and melody, 50%. That's half. And then music and drums is 50%. So for me, for example, if I was to chop up a sample and then somebody else did all the drums, I'm splitting that 25-25. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see that.
And then if I wrote the lyrics and the melody and all that person did was the drums, I'm getting 75 pub, they're getting 25. Because I broke the song into 4 things: lyrics, melody, music, drums. That's how I break it down.
Does it depend on when the things are done?
No, because for me, the song gets heard all at the same time. See what I'm saying? Yeah. It goes out and it gets perceived also, whether or not you did it 2 weeks after I laid my shit down, whatever. It's like, the song is the song.
Would the lyrics or melody writers be entitled to the production?
No.
Why?
Because they didn't do anything with the production.
But isn't the sound of a word or the sound of a melody as valid as the sound of a drum?
Yeah, but you're going to get compensated for that.
But the drums are getting compensated. Well, okay, so
you're trying to basically weigh the importance of each and saying the lyrics and melody are more important.
No. I'm saying that if somebody's coming onto a song, and they're going to play drums and they're going to ask for, say, 25% of the publishing. Sure. I would say, no, that's not. I would say no. I would say no, that's not songwriting. Yeah. Like that in its definition is not songwriting. No. But if we're going to be egalitarian and say, okay, we're all going to partake in the publishing because the drums are important. The song's never been released before. The drums make people move. And they wrote the drum part. And you wrote the drum part. That's fine. Okay. So you want to get on my publishing. I'm now going to take the equal percentage of your production. I'm going to take the fee and the points because the drums are not part of songwriting. But in our world that we're going to create, where we're going to allow you to be part of this, I'm going to be part of that because lyrics and melodies are not part of production. Sure. Just like drums are not part of songwriting in a legal sense. And as somebody who's often writing the song, where the drum beat may change one way or the other. Yeah. But the song is usually pretty clear by the time it goes out to somebody. Yeah. But the drums can really shift the whole. But so a lot of people posted it was like, yeah, but imagine these songs without the drums. And I was like, imagine these songs without the melody or lyrics. Then they're just drums. Like I see people, I know that there's, instrumental music that becomes hits, but it's a small percentage. Yeah. I don't know. Like you're talking about like probably 0.01% of songs, like maybe like Harlem Shake or some shit. Yeah. Like it's pretty, there are very few songs that are smashes without any real lyric melody, and if it's just not going to be a thing. So I feel like I'm more likely going to, I just would end up saying, you want some of the songwriting? Now, when you say taking part of their production, what do you mean? Instead of them getting 4 points, they're going to get 2 and you're going to get 2? I'm just saying, like, if we're going to split everything, let's split everything. Or let's not. But I don't know why all of a sudden my rights as a rights holder, as a songwriter, is now automatically given to people who aren't technically entitled to it. Yeah, because you're using the technical definition, which is fair. And I also work in 10 different genres. Yeah. So one genre specifically really credits music most. And which in many ways, if you look at Motown, like how what was it, James Jameson, isn't that the bassist? Like how does how does that not get some publishing? Yeah. I'm not unaware of the contribution of melodies within a song. However, they weren't credited because they're not songwriters. Fair. So in a world where now we've moved towards like, okay, we're going to say 50% is music. Yeah. If we're going to say that, then I'm going to say that's cool. And also in that world, I'm going to say 50% of the production is the song. Or we're going to go and say, I'm the songwriter, you're the You know, you guys are the producers.
Yeah.
And sometimes this is where you're a unicorn.
Yeah.
Like, this is where, like, why I'm asking you in particular. You're an advocate for the music business and for songwriters and artists.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, you're posting things that are advocate-ish.
Yeah.
So deal with it, bro. You posted it. I reposted it. I didn't like, it's not.
Yeah.
It didn't work the other way. And like,
Correct.
you know, and you're going through like, so you have the ability to write and produce 100% song, and so do I. So we're in a unique place where we get to often dictate how we're going to treat the collaborators.
Yeah.
That's super unique.
Yeah.
So it's like how you're doing it is going to,
I just, you know what it is? I genuinely want to make everyone feel like they're being valued. And I'm not trying to squeeze anyone. Not saying you are, but I'm not trying to squeeze anyone. So for me, it's just easier to be like, okay, if I did lyrics and melody and I chopped the sample and you did the drums, here's 25, I'm getting 75, sign off on it, see ya. It's just easy, you know, instead of like trying to go back and forth, we're like, well, really, you should be 19.85%. And it's like, you know what, bro, I don't give a shit enough. You know what I mean? Like for me, I have so much fucking music out. And here's the other, like, here's the finesse that's happening in the music business. Everyone is so fucking concerned with publishing because everyone thinks that that's where the money's at. Wrong. The money's on the master side. You don't make that much money on publishing unless that shit goes dumb at radio, gets crazy, sings. The master is where so you get a bunch of people fighting over a pub. It's like, dog, that's not even where the money is. The money's on the master side. Like, that's where the money is. Straight up. That's where the bulk of the money is.
the bulk of the money is absolutely on the master side. And most people share the master side with a record label that's not themselves.
Right.
So they don't often see the real value the way
That's
that
why
you're
I don't
seeing
give a
it.
shit about the publishing like that. Like, I always tell sample holders, bro, take 100% of the pub. I just want to put the song out. I know I'm making millions on the master side. Take the pub. Don't give a fuck. Like, I just want to put it out.
This is why most professional songwriters are still aiming for radio while it exists.
Exactly.
And the licensing and all the other stuff that comes to it. The licensing world is 50-50.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the licensing world is going to be, it's its own beast.
Yeah.
But I think the other thought with it, and a lot of your music isn't being covered by other people.
Yeah.
It is sometimes on TikTok and on other things, but like a valuable copyright can, when RAAA says your album's platinum, the idea for songwriters that, well, we've had, it's that recording that's qualified as platinum. The song has been that recording plus all the covers.
Yeah.
Like there's other versions of certain songs that have like tremendous value outside of it. I do think that you're right though. Part of the reason why the publishing is worth less and less is mostly because you have drum programmers getting 25%. Yeah. There was if you had 50-50, on Losing Control, like that song still would create, it's at what, like 1 billion streams across platforms, probably more.
I got fucked with that song because I forgot to clear the sample until after it was like 4 times platinum. And so I probably could have cleared it in 2015 when I made, but I didn't know anyone in 2015. I'm a kid in the basement. Like, but I probably could have cleared it back then for $5,000. And so song comes out, goes on the album. I forget about it to the point where I'm like, I don't even remember if I sampled that. And I was like, oh fuck, I did. Like that pad, just 2 chords is a sample. And so the sample holders came like in, whatever that was, 2018 or 2020 or some shit. And I was like, fuck, because it was 4 or 5 times platinum at that point. So I had to cut a check for like $850,000.
That was expensive.
Yeah, it was an expensive fuck up. But it was fine because it was like, I had just like re-upped with Columbia. Like I just gotten whatever advance that was for, like the 3rd album or some shit. And so I didn't even feel like I lost the money because it was just like, it went to me and then I just sent it to them. And I was like, oh, whatever. I didn't even get to like touch it anyway.
Why do you think most artists are unaware of their business? And why are you so aware of your business?
That is a good question. I think most artists are unaware.
They lazy. Most artists are lazy. It's between lazy and not knowing. But half of the not knowing is because they're lazy. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, everything is not for everybody. So if you're lazy, you need to hire somebody like me to give you the information. You need to get you a manager ASAP. You need to do a lot of stuff because you're going to stay unaware. I ain't going to lie. Almost everything I know is because of what I'm doing now, watching a video like this or doing my own research, bro. Literally, like, it's not rocket science. Like, it really not. It's not rocket science, bro. Everything that I know right now is because of me taking the initiative to do my research and watch videos like this. Simple as that.
of what's going on due to lack of asking questions. And they don't, maybe they're intimidated to like know about it, or just a lot of times too, when you don't know about something, it just feels like foreign and intimidating and overwhelming. And I remember like when I was still not like mixing, you know, our shit. So like I started out just producing for my boy, and we would send it off to get mixed, because mixing felt like this crazy world that I didn't know about. And I didn't even like have the awareness, like look up what mixing is or whatever. We were just sending it off like, I don't know, mixing some other shit. And then we were getting mixes back and we didn't like them. And I was like, let me just figure out what this is. And so then I started mixing everything. And so same thing, I think with like the business side, I think I would speculate and say most artists are probably just overwhelmed and intimidated by the whole business world because they don't know what's what. And so they're like, fuck it, I'm just not going to ask. You handle it. It's too confusing. It's too much. But for me, why I'm so like aware and want to be aware is because it's my shit. Like, it's my shit. It's my business. I'm not going to let somebody else just tell me like, no, this is just how it goes. I ask questions. I call my lawyer all the time. I call my business manager all the time. Like, I don't know everything. I just ask a lot of questions.
It seems like when I called you a unicorn, I mean, not literally a unicorn, you're metaphorically a unicorn. It feels like almost like I'm not sure if it's like an insult or a pickup line or something. You're a unicorn. It just feels like a weird thing to say to somebody.
It feels good. It feels romantic.
Okay, it's kind of romantic.
Yeah.
But the idea that when I have conversations with my friends who are musicians, a couple of them are like, do you really like this stuff? I'm like, no, I really like the business stuff too. And when I go in and create, it somehow feels, it feels like an escape, and vice versa.
Interesting.
Do you ever write songs, knowing the business, do you ever write songs specifically to target something that affects your business?
No. Like, I'm going to make this because a certain side of TikTok's going to go crazy.
Yeah, that feels kind of cheap, I guess, in that sense. But do you feel like,
me I don't do that.
I guess the other would be true too, which is like after you write a song, are you immediately thinking of how you're going to market that song?
Yeah, I am thinking that. But to me, that's just another like branch of my creativity, you know, is, I can already see the visuals for this song. Yeah. You know, that's just another part of my creativity.
When you started releasing music, I
want to say, because you made a good point about like you like the business side, it's an escape. I think for me, part of it is also like wanting to feel in control. And I feel like if I don't know what's going on with my business, I'm just free falling in limbo. Just putting music out and songs out, not knowing what's what. Like, that's scary to me. It feels very unsafe. Feels like I'm not in control. It feels like I'm just trusting that people I met via the business are just going to have my best interest. And, I think it comes from a lack of trust. I don't trust anyone more than I trust myself, And so that's nice. I know you're a great lawyer. I know you looked at it. I'm looking at it though.
Mm-hmm.
And some of that, like, it's a fine line because sometimes I get too micromanagey, where it's like, it doesn't foster competence. It fosters this sort of like, not resentment, but sort of just this, bro, back off. Like, I got it, but I'm like, you sure?
Yeah.
I got to fucking read it, watch it, look at it, ask questions. Just because, like I said, like, if something fucks up, I don't want to be blindsided by it. I want to be like, you know what? I looked at it and I missed that.
Yeah. We just had the BMI Awards and they asked, what's advice you'd give a young writer? And I said, learn how you're getting screwed, because then you can spend your whole career with eyes wide open.
Yeah. Yeah.
What advice would you give young songwriters?
Oh man, stop giving your songs away
to
artists. Songwriters get stuck in this like loop where I feel like they have been told or they've believed or accepted that you can't be the artist. You're just the writer, whether it's because your appearance or whatever the fuck it is. It's like, y'all are the geniuses. Y'all are like the source is what I call them. Y'all are the source. Put your shit out. Like one of my favorite songwriters, BB Borelli, who I worked with on Santiago. Great. Every time I talk to her, I'm like, please put your shit out. Yeah. When I first met her, I was like, stop giving your songs away, just because I get it. Like, there's an art to that too. Like, you writing something and somebody else singing it, whatever. I get it. But I'm like, nah, like, 'cause when she'll play me like her demos and I'm like, this is so much better than what came out. And oftentimes it's the emotion behind it. It's like, I can tell you wrote this based off how you're singing it. And I can tell that person did not write this. They sound like they're reading off a script, And it's like, especially in today's day and age where there's not the gatekeepers of the past who are like, I think it was The Dream. They told like, no, you're not, like, you don't look good enough to be a songwriter or some shit like that. That's out. That doesn't apply anymore. Like, this is the internet. Like, put your shit out.
The Dream solo albums were so good.
So good.
They were so good. And they're so underrated. I think the thing about being a songwriter, not to get off topic, but I think the idea is that you get to be whoever you want differently than an artist. Like, you have to release songs that identify with Russ, the brand. Mm-hmm. And if I write a lot of songs for women.
Nice.
And like, I'm not likely to release those songs.
That would be cool.
We'll do our demo album at some point.
Yeah.
But it's a different thing when you're like, I get to write with people from, I write a lot in Nashville and New York, and I've been to Atlanta a few times, and it's like, I'm writing music for a lot of people who are not like me. Yeah. And I love that.
That's an awesome exercise though. The couple of times where I've been like given the opportunity to like, hey, so-and-so is looking for songs. Can you write something? it's like the most fun ever because I get out of my own way. I'm no longer writing lyrics that I feel like have to apply to me. I'm doing it for that. But I just end up putting those songs out.
Yeah. Well, like, how did the song happen? The one that you did with Ina. Did you know Ina? Like, there's the one that like
315.
Yeah. Did you know Ina?
I sampled that. So I was at a Turkish restaurant.
Ina. Well, I want to hear the story about that.
Yeah. We'll get to that.
Ina is like a songwriting, like she's part of the songwriting community. So to see her as like the co-writer on it is really exciting. Tell me, how did that song come out?
Yeah. So I rarely leave my house, and I'm glad I did this time. I went to a Turkish restaurant, and they were just playing the Jax Jones acoustic version of that song, I believe. Or they were playing just his version with her singing. It had to be the acoustic version. Either way, I was like, this melody's fucking crazy. Like, what is it? So I Shazam it. I'm like, all right, we got a dip. So run home, and I just sampled the acoustic version, and that was it. It's very simple.
Were you with other people at this restaurant?
My girl and my mom.
And when those moments happen, when you're in a public place,
they know we got a dip. Yeah, they know. Get the check. Can I finish my wine? No. Get the fuck out of here. ASAP. Don't you want another Chanel bracelet?
Oh my God. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Oh my God. Please say this is that. What actually happens? Slap.
No, but in my head, no.
Yeah. It's just a weird thing because like,
no, that happens a lot of
my wife always says like, where did you just go? And it's like, it's this verse, and I'll start singing. Like she just knows that like all of a sudden there's this look, and I don't know the look because it's my face.
Yeah,
like, you don't see.
Well, it's interesting. We're always working. We don't even realize it. You know? I think Rick Rubin talks about like your antennas being up, and I think it's just a testament to it's honoring the gift. Honoring the gift of creativity is recognizing when your antennas are picking up something and you need to dip. That's honoring your gift for me. So like if I'm at a restaurant, I hear something, I Shazam it, I hear the whole beat flip in my head. I gotta go. Otherwise, that's a slap in the face to the gift I've been given.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so real. And when I have these conversations with people who aren't musicians, professional musicians, or the muggles, if you will, as we like when you try to explain, okay, no one else has their job in their face all the time.
Yeah.
In a car, in a restaurant, in any store, anywhere in public, you walk down a street and your job is thrown at you everywhere.
Yeah.
And like, I don't care what your job is. I can't think of another scenario where you're going to have your job all in your face
constantly.
It's just constantly. It's why I try to listen to a lot of music that isn't like the music I write. Otherwise, it just will.
I get so bummed out though with that because I listen to so much music that I don't write music like the songs I listen to, but I want to so bad. Like, how do I write a song that makes me feel like how Pushing It Down and Praying by Lizzie makes me, How do I write shit like fucking Slim Dan or McGee? Like, how do I fucking do this?
Yeah.
I'm so pissed because it's like, this is all I listen to. And I go in the studio and I don't make this. Like, what is the disconnect?
Well, that's what we're saying. The appetite for listening to music is not the same as the appetite for making it. And like, when you sit down in front of your computer and you have like 8 hours to dive into something, you're like, you dive into generally what's natural for you to write, which is not necessarily.
Which I hate. Why don't you?
But I will say this, you could write other music. You have the skill set to do it.
Yeah. You know what it is? I think that's part of why I was so open to like collaboration these past 2 albums, because I think there's a potential for stagnation when you're drawing from the same well consistently. And so for me, over the years, and I feel like every artist has this, but like I have my go-to melodic insights and my like familiar harmonic landscapes that I dance around in. And they're just, after 500 songs and countless sessions, it just got to a point of predictability, even for myself as a creator. Like, oh, I know exactly what I'm about to do. Boring. Like I'm over it. I know exactly what melody, like it's like the melody pool of, and every artist has those go-to melodies. Like I feel like The Weeknd has like just those weekend melodies. Drake has very like Drake melodies. And after a while, it's just kind of like, all right, I'm over this, bro. And so this album and last album, but this album, I had these 2 guys from Australia, Jake and Kiri, found them on TikTok. Insane songwriter producers. They're me, but just Australian, because they sit in their room, they make everything, they mix everything, they do the beat, everything. And so we got in a group chat and we just started sending ideas back and forth. And it was so fun because I realized that collaboration is a trampoline, and I might send a melody idea and then they bounce off of it and go there. And because you bounced off of this and went there, now I'm bouncing off of that and going there. And I got to a place off the trampoline of collaboration that I wouldn't have jumped to, and it allowed me to be a fan again because I didn't know what I was about to hear. You know what I'm saying? Like if they would send a melody idea, I was like, I got to hear it for the first time. As opposed to my melodies, it's predictable for me now, Not all the time, but there's a lot of predictability and stagnation from just being insular and isolated with my creative process.
That takes a certain level of humility. I think a lot of artists are afraid to do it / admit that they do it. And then when they do it, it's like, we know of other people who rap where they vehemently hide their collaborators.
Yeah.
Because they're so afraid.
Well, with rap, you shouldn't have people writing your raps. Yeah. I just feel like that's a rule of the culture.
The rule. Yeah.
So for me, like nobody's ever written my raps. Nobody ever will.
Yeah.
But when it comes to writing choruses and hooks, this one, it's like, yeah, bro, let's jam and write songs together. Yeah. Let's write melodies together. That's fun. That's what I used to do when I was 14. You know what I mean? Like that's the inception of this shit.
Now that you've done that, does that open up a door to, I mean, like where obviously you're in LA right now because,
Yeah.
you know, Wild is new.
Yeah.
You know, does it make you want to just ride the heels and just be like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, bro.
It makes the whole process so much faster.
But here's my thing,
or efficient, I should say.
I'm never going to be the person where it's like, send me songs and I'll just sing them. Fuck no.
Yeah.
My handprints have to be on it. Otherwise it's not authentic.
Totally.
And so that's what was so great with this process was, like I said, it was just me, Jake and Carrie, 3 producer songwriters. We all make beats. We all write melodies. And just all of us sending beats back and forth. And then, yo, do you hear anything for this? Oh yeah, I hear this. Oh, that makes me think of this. And like, it was true, pure collaboration. It wasn't, yo, I recorded this song, sing it. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So but to your question, yes, it is, it's exciting because it's like, who else is out there that I could just get in with and just write melodies with? Because like I said, you get to a point, bro, where it's like, you are just burnt out on your go-to melodic insights and your go-to harmonic worlds. It's like, it gets boring. And if this shit isn't fun, then what the fuck am I doing this shit for? You know?
Are you ever afraid that you'll run out of creativity?
Every day. I feel like that comes with being an artist, you know? It's like, you go to the studio one day and you don't make shit. It's like, oh, maybe that was it. Maybe this is it. You know, like that's how dramatic I am sometimes. Like, damn, bro, like, what if I never make a fucking fire melody again? But then I always end up making one. And it's like, okay, I was being dramatic. But being dramatic, I will say, is a very underrated attribute to being a great songwriter. I think you have to over dramatize the trivial moments of life to be a great songwriter.
Why?
Like the tiniest things that are not a big deal, make them a big deal. That's like, think about, you know, there's like massive songs that are written off of like a petty argument that like most people be like, bro, it's not that big of a deal. But I'm like, yeah, it is. Or it can be.
Man, I
little do you know, the wheels are turning. Let's crank this argument up a notch.
before he died, I worked with Lamont Dozier from Holland Dozier in Holland, and he was talking about "Stop in the Name of Love." Was that his wife caught him cheating, and was like, and said, just just stop in the name of love, stop.
Gem.
It's like,
did she get production?
That's the right question. Finally, it's happened. Russ and Rouse. We're gonna do an album called Rouse.
So many great songs come from just those conversational.
Oh my god,
moments. That's why like I can't help but like when me and my girl will be talking, and I'm like, oh, that's such a great song.
Yeah,
it's just some regular shit she said, but Jack Johnson Banana Pancakes was him walking downstairs, like just, and his wife was making banana pancakes, and he just had a guitar dicking around, and she was just like, oh, I like that, and then he wrote but like that's being dramatic. And it's awesome.
I had like there's one song that I wrote. I knew the melody and I knew it was a 5-syllable word that needed to be the thing. And it was going to clearly was framed like that's where the title would go. Yeah. And it was sitting there for like a few weeks, just couldn't figure it out. I would think about it all the time. And, you know, this is like 10 years ago. And my wife said something about like, you know, like I just don't even feel appreciated. And I was like, that's it. And it was like in the middle of like the thing, I was like, this is terrible. This is a terrible thing to interrupt this particular argument. But
love that, babe.
I am so sorry. I need to go and record this song. I've waited for this word, and we will get past this. I promise. Just give me a half hour. I'm gonna go upstairs. It's a good song. I think we even played it like at our wedding as like one of the, it became like a thing.
Bro, that's so like, so you've experienced success with songs that didn't immediately come to you. You had to let them marinate for weeks. And
I have both. Yeah. I mean, like,
I second guess it honestly, I second guess it if it happens quick, because I'm like, surely this can't be that great if it came so fast. And I also second guess if it's like, dog, it's been a month and you're still trying to fit the words into this melody. Like, it's not it.
Don't
fit the words into the melody.
No, don't freak out.
Oh, well, have you met me?
Yeah,
it's like part of my whole thing.
But like, you can multitask. You can do 10 sessions and have that one melody percolating for months or years. Who cares?
Oh my God, that would drive me fucking nuts.
What's a song that just came off the cuff like that?
All of the big ones.
No way.
All of them.
Like, how long did it take you to write? I mean, any of the big ones?
3:15 was an hour.
The whole thing?
Yeah, well, because the hook was already there.
Yeah, right, fair.
Losing control. So what I used to do, I used to just make a shit ton of beats. I had a playlist on my computer called The Vault, and they were numbered. Original 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I would just put The Vault on shuffle. And so Losing Control, I had that beat for 2 months. I didn't listen to it after I made it. Like, I'm sure I did, but then like forgot about it. And I went downstairs when I was still living with my parents. It was like 2 a.m. and I just had The Vault on shuffle. And that beat played and I did the melody for the hook. Like, whispered the voice memo not to wake anyone up. Yeah. And the next day I went to the studio and recorded it. But that was really fast, that whole process. What They Want was 45 minutes. Psycho Part 2. I mean, all the big ones were really fast. So I think
how long did it take you to write Crazy, the
new one?
The newest single?
That was kind of a similar situation. I made the beat in Wyoming in the hotel room. And immediately when I made the beat, I got the melody for the hook. And I went home, was playing the beat on the speakers throughout the house, took a shower. I write all my shit in the shower. Like, all the melody ideas come in the shower. So playing it in the shower, and then I got the melody for the first verse and second verse. So I was just telling my boy Steve that I don't like writing in the studio anymore. I like recording in the studio.
Yeah.
But
You
like,
execute in the
I wanna
studio.
write-
You write while you're on a hike.
I want to write while I'm living,
Yeah, right.
And then